ready to get wild, loud, and crazy, and they are doing a good job of it right now. The first stop of 17 of the THQ World Supercross Grand Prix season, and it's about to get started. Hi, everybody. Welcome. I'm Robbie Floyd with Cameron Steele, and we talk about this season, the GP season, and there's a healthy top contender, and he's ready to win a championship.
For sure. Not only is he healthy, the knee is good. He loves his new motorcycle. He's super comfortable, and he's also having fun. He looks like a very dangerous Ricky Carmichael.
Carmichael's tough, but you know the road leads to Las Vegas. The first stop of 17 is now, but it is a long road at that. The guys are going to be gambling throughout the year.
Well, you're gambling on a championship. 17 rounds is so long. Last year was Heath Voss and Damon Huffman and Tyler Evans at the end. This year, we're mixing in some other names. Of course, Heath Voss is looking great. More stamina. He says ready to go 20 laps. But let's mix in Ferry. Let's mix in LaRocco, Tortelli, some great names. Nick Way's in the house. A lot of guys going for that World Supercross Championship.
It came down to the end last year between Huffman, Evans, as well as Heath Voss. But the top rider this year was injured last year. It's Ricky Carmichael. He looked so fast in practice, and right now he's with Jamie Little.
Right, he was definitely the fastest in practice all weekend long. And Ricky, you said, I'm having fun, I'm excited to be back. This is your first appearance in the THQ World Supercross title. What made you come to Canada?
You know, it's been a while since I've raced Supercross, and I'm on a new team now, and I just figured I needed to put in some time, you know, and I really enjoy racing. You know, the older I get, the more I appreciate it, and here for myself, for my team, and the fans.
You know, there's been a lot of talk about you being the underdog. What do you see yourself as? Do you see yourself as the favorite coming in or the underdog?
In my own mind, I think I'm still the guy to beat. You know, I got a solid program, but, you know, the press does amazing things. And, you know, I think it's a great year to be racing, and I'm just glad I'm a big part of it.
All right, we're glad to have you back. Ricky Carmichael going for the THQ World title for the first time.
All right, Cameron, let's take a look at this track. It is a tough one. Great dirt, though.
It is good dirt, but it's interesting because it is soft. Long starting straight, you got to go left, and then you get into the first triple after the right. On the backside, it's kind of a confusing section. There are a couple either-ors in that rhythm section. Then come right again, a little setup into the triple small whoop section across the starting area, and then you get into the rhythm. Step on, step off, step on, step off, and then what everybody's been talking about, the whoop section right here. It's breaking down because of the dirt. Very scary. You're going to see bikes not just skimming the top, but going side to side. Guys are going to be losing traction and losing the ability to go straight.
Well, to make it to the main event, you have to qualify, Cameron. 2 heat races, top 8 make it. Then we have semifinals, top 10 transfer. Of course, that's 4 out of each, and then 5 out of each. We take 2 from the LCQ. The first race of the year is about to get underway.
Well, your number 1 seed here from the World Supercross is Damon Huffman. He was second last year. Gates getting ready to drop. Watch the 80. Doug DeHaan, the local boy from Canada, but
Honda on the outside. Looks like Kyle Lewis. No, not going to be the case. The number 54 showing how to get it done. Jeff Gibson out of Ohio. The Subway Coca-Cola Honda with the first whole shot of the season.
And Jeff Gibson has been looking fired up in practice. I want to tell you, he was the 8th fastest in practice times. He wasn't riding in that factory practice, though. He actually broke up the other group. So he was looking great. He's on a new team, and when I talked to him, he's like, man, I love this motorcycle. I am feeling so confident. Bear with us. The new numbers are going to throw us off just a little bit, but I think we got him down.
I've got it dialed in. His teammate just behind him, the number 33. It looks like Joe Aloff up in the front as well. We've got a trio of Hondas, a 3-digit number. You don't see that too often in the heat races with a 3-digit guy in front.
That's right, and it looks like it's Jimmy Wilson, if I'm not mistaken, taking a look here at the numbers.
Yeah, Jimmy Wilson out of Ann Arbor, Michigan on the 7th gear oil Honda in the 3rd position. The first race of the year, a lot of nerves on the starting gate, and it's Gibson with a great start, but you still can't get out the 33 of Jason Thomas. JT Money, we used to call him.
JT has been looking so solid in the whoop. Watch the track. I talked about the soft dirt at the top of the show. It's groomed now. We've only had 2 125 races on it so far, but it will break down. It's like a soft sand. You see Jason Thomas reaching out and stretching over that little whoop section. It looks like lucky Kyle Lewis coming up underneath, possibly looking for a pass on Jimmy Wilson.
Jason Thomas, rider number 33, trying to close in on his teammate Jeff Gibson, who got the whole shot. Jimmy Wilson back in third. A good battle going on between Doug DeHaan and Kyle Lewis for that fourth spot. But right now, Honda 1, 2, and 3 just leaning on it. Great dirt they have here. It come in a little soft. They had to screen it, but it's starting to pack more and more. A couple days from now, this stuff will be rock hard.
It will, and those four strokes that have been leading this thing, they have been looking so great, especially in the whoops. They've been getting a lot of drive going through, a lot of traction and driving hard. So a very good turnout right now for the Honda riders. And Kyle Lewis, you're looking at number 23 right there. He was a guy that had a terrible accident last year in Portugal at an off-site supercross, not part of our series, but he went out, he was trying to do some racing, keep warm. What happened was he broke his collarbone and tore everything in his rotator cuff, functional lung. Said, I almost died. It was an amazing situation for him to be back, and he's so fit and trim right now. He is 20 pounds lighter than he was last year. He says he's lean and mean and ready to go.
54 is your leader. He's out in front. Jeff Gibson, second spot. Jason Thomas, third. Kyle Lewis. Lucky's up into that third spot. Jimmy Wilson back and forth. And Lucky used to live in Nevada, now back out near Lancaster in the desert. He has that secret practice track. You know he's been spending some time out there.
One time we went out to go ride with Kyle Lewis, and we were going to ride in the hills, and he was doing some laps on a supercross track, and they're like, well, if you guys want to, you can ride it. We went out and looked at it. We were like, I don't think we want to ride that thing.
Just under a 1-minute lap time. We expect the times only to get faster as the night progresses. Right now, number 23 on the Honda, Kyle Lewis is in third, and he's trying to move up. Your leader, Jeff Gibson, but will it stay that way? The first sign of the opening round of the THQ World Supercross GP when we come back. Check out him. Heat race number 1, the 250cc class. You see him preloading right there. He has this track dialed in. Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the first stop of the THQ World Supercross GP. Lap number 5 of 8. Gibson leads Thomas ahead of Kyle Lewis. Damon Huffman now in 4th spot. Out of transfer is Justin Buckaloo, who's now up to 5th.
And Buckaloo, who everybody wills to get a good run, and they want to see him do well. He's been a pro for 5 years, but you know what? He's only been racing about 2.5 of those because of injuries. But right now, the story is Jeff Gibson and Jason Thomas chasing up behind him. These guys are teammates. I'm sure there's some team orders. You know, don't get into each other. But right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see them run smooth, run apart, and just take the transfer spots into the main event for the Subway Coca-Cola Honda team.
JT Money, Jason Thomas, you see that last lap of 58.33. If he can keep turning those in, you know, he'll be up there in the front. Right now, he's in second behind his teammate, Jeff Gibson. We take a look back in third. Kyle Lewis is charging, but he's some 7 seconds back. Lewis now starting to get a little pressure from Huffy. He likes the Canadian rounds as well, a former Canadian motocross champion, Damon Huffman.
Kyle Lewis continuing to hold his spot, getting through some lap traffic. As you said, Damon Huffman, who is, you know, the wily veteran, so to speak, but so is Kyle Lewis. These guys have been racing for a long time. They know how to share the track, and they're both good at it. Look at that. Kyle Lewis looking to get into those ruts. It's already getting deep. It is going to be tough to get into those lines, every line you want. We may even see riders not jumping the triple at times because the ruts are so big going into them.
Bike around, you see Damon Huffman, rider number 20, just behind. He's closed in on Lucky, but getting by him is a whole other story. I mean, a very aggressive rider on a defensive mode at times is Kyle Lewis, rider number 23. And he's been doing this for a long time, as well as Huffman, former U.S. Open Supercross champion. Right now, they are in those final 2 transfer spots. Only 4 move on to the final.
So really, it doesn't matter which way they finish, other than your pick on the starting gate. For those of you that don't follow Supercross all the time, you see the white flag waving right there is out. This is the last lap. These two guys are battling. They're both making it to the main event, yes. But whoever finishes ahead of the other will get a better pick on the starting gate. So, oh, look at those ruts. You see Kyle getting into that, having to seat bounce out of that section. Definitely a little sketchy there.
A little more room for error when you have to stand up. When you seat bounce, you're at the will of that machine a lot of times. Gibson with a good lead, a little over 3 seconds over Jason Thomas. Kyle Lewis back in third with more and more pressure from Damon Huffman. Huffy's not giving up. He wants that 1 gate pick. It is very important, Cameron. It's not just like, okay, go ahead and take the spot.
Plus, there's bragging rights out there. These guys are on 2 different teams. Kyle riding the Moto Triple X bike, and Huffman riding the Team ECC.com bike. So checker flag getting ready to come out. Check it out right there.
A little cross-up for the heat race win. Jeff Gibson, second spot. Will be Thomas. Look at this race for third. It goes to Lucky. Kyle Lewis in third, and Damon Huffman, rider number 20, takes the fourth and final qualifier. He will move on to the main. If you want to make it directly into the 250cc main event for the heat race, you must come inside the top four. Jeff Gibson with a win does that ahead of Jason Thomas, Kyle Lewis, and Damon Huffman. Bucklew and the rest of the guys must ride the semi. Congratulations goes to Jeff Gibson, his first Supercross heat race win. But the man who has the #1 plate is Heath Voss. He's the subject of this week's Nissan Rider Profile because he is the 2004 THQ World Supercross Champion.
In 2004, Heath Voss achieved a lifelong dream, earning the THQ World Supercross title. But the seeds to becoming a world champion were planted nearly 15 years ago.
When I was a kid, 1990 was the first time I had seen motorcycle racing or motocross. And it was a Supercross race on ESPN. And I used to watch those things every Thursday night. And that's what I wanted to do. I went out. My dad used to be in the construction business and had a skid loader. And I used to go on out and build jumps for my bicycles and stuff. And then when I was 13, I got a motorcycle. And all I wanted to do was jump it. And I think that's where Supercross kind of fits me a little bit more because, you know, it's what I wanted to do right from the get-go. And jumping there's just something about it. I like to jump and compete and, you know, try to go faster.
Despite competing in the world's toughest two-wheeled sport, Voss enjoys the camaraderie with the other racers.
You know, I race with these guys every weekend, and you learn to trust each other, and otherwise, you know, all in all, it's pretty good racing, and all the guys are pretty fair guys. I mean, we race together 30 races a year, and so you kind of know where everything stands.
Moving to our second 250cc heat race, we get to have the Clash of the Titans, the defending World Supercross GP champion, Heath Voss, and Ricky Carmichael, the champion from 2 years ago in the U.S. Series. The 30-second board is down. We are underway. Carmichael wheelies down the front straightaway, but it's Tim Ferry making an impressive return to Supercross.
And the Red Dog has the line for the moment, but Ricky Carmichael pops right into the lead in the second corner. Ricky Carmichael has been setting the fastest times in practice, and I will note something else. The top 7 fastest riders from practice are in this heat based on the way the seedings went. So a lot of great riders in this heat. Anything can happen. 4 go to the main event.
Carmichael, Ferry, Clark Stiles in third spot right now. 4 move on to the finalists. The 47 in that transfer spot, Tyler Evans. He had a great start to the World Supercross Grand Prix season last year, but he couldn't hold on to it.
He did. He came with the podium, and right now, Ricky Carmichael out in front. So many questions to be asked about how he is, how he's doing, how he's feeling, how he likes the motorcycle. He is here to answer those questions. He has been looking phenomenal. He sounds confident. His whole team looks great. I mean, they really seem like they're ready to go racing.
What do you think, boys and girls? Does he look fast on the Suzuki? There are a lot of questions being answered right now. He was the fastest in practice by a half a second over the man who's second right now, Timmy Ferry. 2 Floridians going at it head-to-head. You know what? Ferry's really not backing off. I expected Carmichael to pull away, especially when he's half a second a lap faster.
Well, the thing to look at, too, these 2 riders taking off into the front. You see, actually, all the ruts we've been talking about. Well, they're from Florida. They don't mind a little sand, a little ruts, right. A little bit of difficult conditions are okay for those guys. And right now, they are looking quite good. And Tim Ferry, I was talking to him before the race. I said, Timmy, you look so smooth and good out there. You look comfortable. He's all, the wrist is good, and I feel great.
Yeah, it's that problem wrist. It gave him fits the entire year last year. He laid off. He's back. He's strong, and he's showing it right now. Great rhythm in that section. Tyler Evans back in third. Not too far back is as well. The 47 Suzuki looking good.
And one thing about Tyler Evans, he came up, he seized a motorcycle in the first heat. Not sure what was going on there, not in the first heat, in the first practice. Then he had some other problems, so he's had a lot less practice than the other guys. And look at this, the transfer battle may be developing.
Clark Stiles, Mike LaRocco right now. Stiles did a great job holding off the rock. Mike LaRocco not used to getting hole shots. 4 transfer to the final, and it's 1 spot out of it. It's Mike LaRocco, and there's Heath Voss, number 1, 6 his nose into 6.
So Heath Voss in there, and then also right behind him, Sebastien Tortelli on the 103 bike, riding the 450. Sebastien says, hey, this bike has really smoothed out my riding and delivery, but Clark Stiles, right now, the Alabama Slammer, is holding off Mike LaRocco. Remember, LaRocco took the summer off, and he raced 1 race. He said he wasn't fit, he wasn't ready. When I talked to him before this race, Mike says, I'm almost there, I'm getting there, I'm feeling pretty confident, but I think he still has a little bit more to go. And, Clark Stiles with a big mistake right there. Mike LaRocco on the 5 going by, as does Tortelli.
Tortelli gets by now. Voss knocking on the door. The Athens, Alabama native Clark Stiles drops from 4th back to 6th. That puts LaRocco in a qualifying spot, moving on to the final. Now let's see what Tortelli has. He's on that RMZ 4-stroke, the 450, the first time we've seen it, and he looks pretty fast on it. We know he likes it better than the 252-stroke. Carmichael, nobody's faster than him right now. He leads Ferry, Evans, and LaRocco. They qualify if they stay that way. Stick with us. Here in Toronto, Skydome, Ricky Carmichael leads heat race number 2 in the 250cc class. Doing a little Ricky scrub right there, crossing the finish line, throwing it down. He looks smooth and flawless right now aboard the RM250. Riding the 2-stroke, has the option. He says, I like it better than the 4-stroke. His teammate, Sebastien Tortelli, who's back in 5th, is on the 4-stroke machinery.
And one thing to point out about Carmichael, we've talked about the ruts. Look at some of the sections he's doing. He's doing them so different than the other riders. There's a bunch of ruts he's jumping over. He's overdoing sections like you can see there. Did a little bit differently than the rider he's going by, but there are some really predominant sections where the whoops and the sand are so gnarly, but he's jumping over 3 where other guys are jumping 2.
Lap number 6 of 8, and he's already putting a rider a lap down. Keith Johnson of the Star Racing Yamaha out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, having some problems. He will have to move on to our semifinal. If you don't make it in the heat, you have to ride a semi. If you don't make it in the semi, you ride an LCQ, but you want to qualify early, and your night partially done at least.
If you win the fastest heat, which right now it looks like Ricky Carmichael is going to do, or is doing, you can see the lap time there, 55.7. He gets the first pick on the gate for the main event.
Mike LaRocco, Sebastien Tortelli, only one of these riders will move on. This is the battle for the 4th and final transfer. LaRocco sits in that spot. Remember, he won at Indianapolis, his home track last year. Tortelli, really, we haven't seen him in Supercross the past couple of years. The knee is fine and healthy, and that 4-stroke's looking pretty fast as well.
He's definitely been looking good and smooth. You know, I was talking to Rick Johnson. He said, you know, Tortelli can't over-battle the motorcycle because it's so powerful. He can't override it. And, Tortelli having a small mistake there, and you see him with his foot off. You got to remember, he's had some injured knees in the past. You want to be careful. Foot slipping off just a bit there. Everything looks fine for Sebastien.
That is going to be a tight race. We got to go back to that in a moment. Ricky Carmichael right now, he's getting the white flag. 1 more lap to go for Carmichael. Ferry in 2nd. Almost 7 seconds behind. Good seeing Ferry do so well. 3rd spot, Tyler Evans, Mike LaRocco 4th, Tortelli in 5th.
And Ricky Carmichael continues to look smooth, taking the lines he wants. You see yellow flag.
Let's take a look one more time at what happened to Sebastien Tortelli. He was so close, but what happens here, Cameron?
Well, taking a look back, it looks like coming out of this corner, he's trying to take a lot of momentum, throws the bike out a little bit. He's maybe looking for a line to come inside of the LaRocco, and we just actually missed it there. It happened right there in that next corner, but it looked like he was trying to set up LaRocco and went to go inside and maybe just had a little misstep, scrubbing speed off that jump.
White flag turns to checkered, and it's Ricky Carmichael with the first win of the THQ World Supercross Grand Prix heat race. Look at those lap times. Last lap was a 55.7. The last lap was faster than anybody else's in that heat race. Ricky Carmichael with his first heat race win of the year in convincing fashion over Tim Ferry, Tyler Evans, and Mike LaRocco. Everyone else, it's semi-time. Now let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, Robbie, Ricky is certainly riding like a man possessed. You were making up time all over the track. You were much faster than you were in any practice this weekend.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm feeling really good. I've been working hard, Jamie. I know that this year's going to be tough. And, you know, I want to win the World Supercross title. That's the only one I don't have. And the bike is good. And, you know, I'm just happy it brings back old days.
Hey, this is your first international win, I think, officially, right?
I think it is, you know, other than the Motocross of the Nations. But, you know, like I said, I'm having a blast racing, and I think that's why I'm getting good results.
Hey, I'm telling you what, guys, the fans are loving RC. There's a lot of RC love in the house. Go get them in the main.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Jamie. Congrats, Ricky. Now it's time to blow it up with the Suzuki All Access here in Toronto.
Well, if you're a fan, you got to come in, you got to get your program, and there's plenty of fans here, and let's not forget an autograph, of course.
Hey, I have my Joe Aloff autograph, don't you?
Oh, definitely. You know, we can't make TV without cameramen, riders, or fans, and they were all here in Toronto.
Let's take a look at our Thor qualifying highlights. This is semifinal number 2 in a great battle. The 103, Sebastien Tortelli and Heath Voss. Voss had the lead, then he lost it, then he got it again, and then Tortelli comes back in the last turn. Look at this.
A little bit of an OJ, the overjump for Heath Voss. It's a little squirrely. He was lucky to get across those checkers in front of Nick Way.
What a race as we take a look at the Semi 1 results brought to you by Thor, Hamlin, Aloff, Clark, Buckaloo, and Dahan. Move on to the final. Tortelli, as you saw, took the win ahead of Voss, Way, Vallejo, and Johnson. Little Handy, Keith Johnson, they were the final 2 transfers to the main event. Shadows of CN Tower right next to the Toronto Skydome for the THQ World Supercross GP. A great venue, a great crowd on hand. 32,118 fans in the Toronto Skydome. Get ready for the first main event of the season, but first, let's go down to Jamie Little.
Well, Robbie, it's time now for the Honda Pit Report, and who better than our man, Jeff Gibson, taking home 250 Heat number 1 win tonight, and he's the newest member of Subway Honda. That's got to feel good. I know things have definitely turned around. You've taken a little time off, and you're on a new team.
Yeah, you know, I really put together a good program in the off-season. I can't thank enough the guys that really helped me out, Subway, Coca-Cola, Answer, DGY, and my heat race went really well. As you saw, I won it. I got an awesome start. These new Michelin tires that I have on are great. Just try to do the same thing in the main.
Here at THQ World Supercross GP, we're seeing new faces on the podium and perhaps a new winner tonight in the 250 main.
Thanks, Jamie. It's good to see Jeff Gibson with a win. It wasn't too long ago. He was still running the old Sky Goggles tag on his goggles when he moved up to expert. We take a look at the Suzuki starting grid. It is the Suzuki of Ricky Carmichael with that number 1 spot. Jeff Gibson with a heat race win. And Cameron, we look at the rest of the field, but when you have first and second picks, it's kind of weird because first pick's on one end of the starting gate and second pick is halfway down.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ricky Carmichael's all the way inside on the left, or just about there, and then next to the box on the same side of the starting gate is Jeff Gibson. So kind of an interesting lineup. They didn't get right next to each other. And let's not forget Heath Voss is on the line as well. Our World Supercross GP champion, THQ World Supercross GP champion, and they are off.
He's looking straight down to the starting gate. It is Kyle Lewis with the hole shot. Number 23 on the Honda. Carmichael in second. Voss in third. LaRocco with a good start in fourth. And he's going to be on the outside of Voss trying to get a pass. And LaRocco takes over third.
And Voss and LaRocco going back and forth. It's Kyle Lewis on the Moto Triple X bike out front right now.
Throttling down the 4th stroke of Lucky, the 2-stroke of RC Ricky Carmichael, and he knows behind him. There's no doubt that yellow Suzuki wants fine. Does he do it? The answer is yes. But will Kyle Lewis give him any quarter? No, but he still takes position.
And watch the whoops. Ricky Carmichael taking off. Remember how rough those whoops are right now. 20 more laps to go on those whoops. They're deteriorating. The lines are getting beat up, and look at Ricky Carmichael shifting around there. The Suzuki leading the Supercross. Suzuki hasn't won a 250 Supercross since Tampa of '99, and that was Larry Ward.
Look at this pass again, Cameron. Lucky a little bit crossed up and a little slingshot move by Carmichael.
Lucky couldn't get that step off, and then catches the safety barrier there on the outside. Ricky Carmichael by cleanly. Now the question is, can anybody get by Kyle Lewis to get up and try and challenge Ricky, or can Kyle step his game up? You see Ricky stepping out there just a little bit by the mechanics there. Remember, lots of ruts. It's a tricky track to ride.
Yes, it is. Mike LaRocco in third spot, the number 5 rider out of Indiana. You're talking about somebody getting by Kyle Lewis. The first rider that could do so would be LaRocco. A pretty good start from the Rock tonight. In third as we speak. But Ricky has the whoop style. That was my one question in our preview show. How good would the suspension be? It's a new bike. Geometry's different. How well is he accustomed to that motorcycle?
Hey, it looks like he's riding pretty comfortably. I know that, you know, Ricky wants to make a statement here. Soon he'll be facing more riders as he moves forward. But right now, your battle for second, this is shaping up quite nice. Remember, Mike LaRocco took some time off in the summer. He's been working at getting back into shape and up to speed. Kyle Lewis injured last year, so a couple riders that haven't seen as much racing as the other riders out on the track.
Exactly right, and LaRocco finished third in the U.S. Open of Supercross. I think I may have mentioned earlier in the show that Nick Way finished third. Way was second. LaRocco was third, but look at this. Heath Voss in fourth, and he's not giving up that little bit of a bobble early on. Cost him the third spot, but a great race for second, third, and fourth. Lewis, LaRocco, Voss, and Carmichael trying to check out, and he is doing it. Here's LaRocco on the outside of the whoops.
And Voss on the gas to the whoops. Remember, Heath Voss was telling us his stamina is way up. He has way more ability to go farther in the race. He said before, 10 or 12 laps was my max. Now I'm ready to go 20. The question is, the two riders in front of him, again, we talked about how they're more coming back. Do they have that stamina that Heath Voss says he has?
Carmichael leads this on that Makita Suzuki. Second spot, the 23, Kyle Lewis out of California on that Honda Dunlop Moto Triple X CRF 450. In third, Mike LaRocco. The Rock, he did a warm-up race in Australia. He come back in the U.S. Open podium there, and he's in that third position now. But Heath Voss is looking for third, not too far behind. He keeps sticking a nose in every so often.
And that's where Kyle Lewis had problems we saw earlier in the race, and he has a good line there. Remember, as they're jumping on and off, he's jumping on, seat bouncing, the bike coming a little bit sideways on time. Look at the lines in the whoops. These guys skimming them perfectly right now. They're making it look like there are no tough lines in those whoops. Oh, the Rock with a better drive there in that section pulls right up on Kyle Lewis.
Look at Lewis, Lucky trying to shut it down, but yeah, he knows he has company. The Rock, you're talking about 3 guys in second, third, fourth that are powerful riders. I mean, they are aggressive. They bulldog that machine no matter what kind of track you're talking about. Let's see what happens in this rhythm section. It looks like LaRocco trying to set him on the outside. Really not a place to pass. What do you think? A whoop section maybe? I mean, if you can get next to him, you know, kind of out-bully him a little bit?
Well, the thing is, LaRocco's been watching Kyle through these sections where he's been right here, where he seat bounces on her. Well, not really seat bouncing there, but LaRocco almost jumps all the way over. He's going inside.
Good drive. LaRocco's going to have the outside, but Lucky has position. LaRocco dives. Hey, they're being very cordial to each other. Very nice out on the track.
Well, they've been racing together for so many years, and both these guys have been around a long time. Look at that. LaRocco going triple. He's going to get by Kyle Lewis. Kyle not able to do that section. You see Heath Voss also rolling into the picture a little tighter on Kyle Lewis, and Kyle playing it safe, not seat bouncing. That triple.
And Lewis goes down. A little bit of a bobble. That moves Voss into third spot now. So it's LaRocco into second now, but can he catch up with Ricky Carmichael? The Suzuki is in the lead, and he's looking to stay that way. Stick with us.
Saving that jump a bit, comes up a little bit short, bounces, slides out. Kyle Lewis, lucky as he's known, not so lucky today. It looked like he was going to have a good race, a little bit of a crash, but still, he's running inside of that top 10 in 8th place as we go right now.
LaRocco, that turn before, had just made the pass. Maybe got Kyle's head, maybe lost a little bit of focus right there. This man, he's dialed in. I mean, he has tunnel vision. He's not thinking about next week in Vancouver. It is all about Toronto and putting that Suzuki on the victory podium. First time, as you mentioned, since Larry Ward.
Where is everybody? I mean, count it out. Ricky Carmichael has checked out. Mike LaRocco coming into view. And that's the number 5, AMSOIL factory connection motorcycle, followed by Heath Voss. Now Voss, he needs to work his program, and he's a guy that's kind of methodical. He can continue to work it and work it and work it. Talk about his stamina.
As we take a look at our TSO running order, you see Carmichael leading LaRocco and Voss. When Voss kind of stuck his nose in there for the championship last year, I noticed it at Indianapolis. You don't want to open that door for him. It's a guy, he is confident in his skills. He trains out there with Goldbrecker in Mico, Texas. He has everything, you know, he had all the benefits when he lived in Minnesota. Now in Texas, he is a great World Supercross GP champion, and he's hoping he can stay that way. Even though Carmichael's in the field, he's saying, hey, baby, I've got the #1 plate for now.
Well, it's interesting to see what he does with LaRocco. Look at him cross-running there in the whoops, and look, coming up behind him, actually. He's got some company in his mirror.
Timmy Ferry up in the 4th spot right now. The factory Yamaha, Sebastien Tortelli all over him. Tortelli won his heat race a little earlier, and I think it gave him a little bit of confidence. Ferry, he's just happy to be healthy. Both of these guys are happy to be healthy. Ferry had wrist injuries last year. Tortelli the past 2 years with a knee problem.
And Tim Ferry, a new father, also his wife and baby here on hand. And check it out, Sebastien Tortelli going for the run of the whoops. Looks like his back wheel jumped out just a little bit. Oh, Tim Ferry keeping him high, and Sebastien not able to get in that line in the groove where he wanted to stay, just not comfortable for him.
How about that, though? Whenever he held him up there at the top, he's saying, I know you're there. You have nowhere to go. You can't put your foot down. It's almost like a brake check. Timmy Ferry, a former 125 Supercross champion. Then you're looking at a World Motocross champion in Sebastien Tortelli. Two great riders, two friendly riders. I mean, I don't think there's anything bad to say about Red Dog or Tortelli.
Oh, for sure, definitely not. Also, remember back in '98, Sebastien Tortelli winning the LA Supercross, so 250 Supercross winner himself, and he definitely is looking all over here on Red Dog. He's looking maybe to go outside in, both of them flipping right there on that landing. Let's see if he sets him up here going to this corner. Looks like Timmy's going to take him high.
He does it again. Timmy Ferry, but here comes Tortelli. Tortelli's going to be set up to the inside. The 4th stroke runs him high, gives him a little room, though. I can't say I'd have done the same, but coming back is Red Dog. Ferry wants that position. Ferry is in 4th right now. Heath Voss in 3rd. LaRocco has only Ricky Carmichael in front of him, but how about this Supercross season? They know they're battling for that championship, and with the field going to be so tight throughout the year, you do not want to give up any position.
Everybody headed to Las Vegas for the championship at the end of the season. You saw Sebastien Tortelli have a little bit of bobble in that rhythm section. We talked about the ruts. You got to take a look and see how they're developing and see where they're stepping on. Tim Ferry looking to go inside where there's less ruts right there, and Sebastien looking at coming back up on him again. Now, I did like the way you pointed it out. Sebastien, a little bit of rubbing on a couple times, and then they were so clean that last corner.
Lap number 12 of 20. Heath Voss still in that final podium spot, but here comes Red Dog. You're talking about privateer up against the factory. Voss with a little bit of bobble there. Now Red Dog sticks a nose in. Look at this.
Oh, Timmy Ferry hanging it out. Oh, and Heath Voss ending up a little bit wide, and he doesn't come off the bike, but catches the edge, maybe catches the foot bag on the tough block there, and Heath Voss feels, Sebastien Tortelli catching the tough block, and his Makita Suzuki laying there, Sebastien getting up, that's the good news, but a big crash. I just saw legs flying there. Definitely a scary situation. We've talked about the rut, possibly cross-running, and then catching one of those tough blocks and the cover over it.
Let's take a look at this one more time, Cameron. It looked like a bear trap with one of those tough blocks. The Yamaha tough block reached up and grabbed the Suzuki. Look at it, caught his foot.
No-footed knack-knack, basically, if you were a freestyle motocrosser. And getting off to the right side of the motorcycle, both legs, and dangerous. They're not only landing both feet into the ground, but when you're on one side of the motorcycle, still holding the bar, so tough on your shoulder.
Ricky Carmichael, Sebastien's teammate, is winning this race 14 seconds ahead of Mike LaRocco. The question is, how fast is he going to be on the Suzuki? Remember, Mike LaRocco had a good start, Cameron Steele. That doesn't always happen, and Ricky has checked out from him 14 seconds ahead right now.
And the other thing to point out, too, is Mike LaRocco won a race last year. You called that race, so LaRocco capable of anything here.
The last race I called in the U.S. Open of Supercross, Ricky Carmichael was out in front, experienced mechanical difficulty, a bad clutch problem cost him the U.S. Open of Supercross and $100,000. He's hoping the Gremlins don't reach up and grab him here in Toronto. More of the THQ World Supercross when we return. Welcome back to Toronto. I'm Robbie Floyd with camera still Jamie Little down in the pits, and that man is leading Ricky Carmichael, number 4. He's only ridden that number 1 plate in the 250s one time at Glen Helen last year. His farewell to Honda, because this is a Suzuki era for Ricky Carmichael. Showing how to get, look at that last lap, 58.078. The fastest in practice. He's the fastest down. He had a 56.076 earlier on in lap number 2. They kind of set himself apart from the field, and he looks over at his teammate and goes, man, I feel bad for you.
And you saw Ryan Clark looking back. Wow, Ryan Clark getting a little bit squirrely there behind Ricky Carmichael. He is a lapper, and you got to remember this guy is still circling in second place.
Albeit 17.4 seconds behind is Mike LaRocco, that AMSOIL factory connection Honda. LaRocco with a good start just has not been able to keep up the pace of Ricky Carmichael. He might have said, hey, it's going to take a mechanical failure for me to win this one. Timmy Ferry, a very impressive ride. He's only 4 seconds behind LaRocco. He still has not given up in third. Good to see Red Dog back healthy in the 3rd spot. Heath Voss back in 4th, but a little ways behind. Timmy Ferry, as you just mentioned, the new baby, back healthy. That wrist seems to be fine, and back to the Ferry of old.
Well, he was showing me the wrist actually today, and he was showing me the movement, and he doesn't have a ton of movement, which he says isn't a huge problem, but he says it's been getting better still yet. So that's good news for Timmy. And, you know, he's one of the favorite riders. I mean, so many fans love him. He's just a great personality. It's great to see him working on a podium on his way back. And you can see right there, those ruts again, fighting. That was that same section. That was actually where Tortelli was laying.
Hey, you're a Floridian. You should be used to this, Red Dog. Ferry in 3rd. You look back at Voss in 4th. Nick Way is in 5th, but still considerable distance back. The number 1 of Heath Voss. You know, he looks pretty darn good himself, and it's good to see him come back. And you know he had to have the pressure. That's not his typical number. He chose to use that number 1 here, where nobody else seems to want to run the number 1.
I got some serious questions about the number he's going to run the rest of the season, by the way. He'll be running the number 13. I'm a little superstitious. Keith Voss says, you know what, I'm not superstitious. I bought my ranch on the 13th. This is my 13th season racing. I started racing when I was 13. I like the number.
He was 28 last year. He's number 1 this year for the World Supercross Grand Prix, and he's currently in 4th spot right now. Where's 5th? The MDK CR250 of Nick Way right there, the 27 kid out of Michigan. And Nicky looking good as well. Lost his factory ride. Looking for a little redemption. Trying to prove to the factory guys that he is capable of winning races and should still be a factory rider. But we like to thank the people at MDK for picking him up and giving him some fast equipment.
Definitely, and some people from Northern California, the Silicon Valley, getting together. Sequoia is the name of the group. They're investment bankers, and they decided, hey, we're going to do it with Nick Way, and Nick is a great rider. I'm actually kind of blown away that a factory team didn't pick him up. It's almost ridiculous. Top 5 in Supercross last year.
Yeah, Nick Way in 5th spot as we speak. Tyler Evans just behind him. I mean, here's a guy who ain't afraid to rumble him up. Way saying, oh, I do not want to see the front wheel of Tyler Evans. But Wade looks good in 5th right now, the 27 Honda. This track is breaking down, ladies and gentlemen. No, those aren't just funky lines on your screen. Those are ruts that these riders are negotiating. And we look back behind Way, and Tyler Evans having a problem with the ruts right there. The 47 Suzuki, the American Suzuki, sponsored by Bloodshot Skaterade.
Hey, he's got some new sponsors doing it his own way, and Tyler's had some problems here. You know, he was one of the faster riders in practice when he got to practice. He seized his bike at one point, had a clutch problem. One thing I want to point out about Tyler, he rides the heck out of the equipment. I mean, he beats it up. He is a big guy, so it's a lot of weight to move around on a motorcycle. I don't mean he's heavy. Don't get in trouble with Tyler Evans saying that. He's just a thick dude.
A freestyle boy, another freestyle rider we're missing. A lot of people are saying, where is Travis Pastrana? He wanted to be here, but he broke his wrist, dislocated his wrist. We look for him in Anaheim. Bye, Tyler. Hello, Suzuki of Ricky Carmichael, number 4. Only about a lap and a half to go, and he's going to take his first Supercross win aboard the RM. Uh-oh, dialing in that clutch. I've seen him do that before. He's pretty hard on the clutches, Cameron.
He definitely can work it. And what I found out was that there was a part, what you were talking about, the failure. They changed that part out. It was something they were already looking at doing, and they just didn't do it before the U.S. Open. And it was a minor thing, and they said, hey, you know what? We changed it. Things are good. White flag is out. Ricky Carmichael starting off the season with the bag. We know a few people are watching at home. You see the whip there. I'm sure James Stewart and Chad Reed are tuning in.
Yes, I could bet money they are, as well as Jeremy McGrath, Kevin Windham. These are guys. Oh! Did you see that? The no put a can. We haven't seen that from Ricky Carmichael in a long time. You think he's having fun, Cameron?
I think he's having a good time. Roger DeCoster might be having flashbacks to Travis Pastrana doing tricks, but hey, it's RC. They're bringing home the win. As long as everything's all good for a few more sections of the track, and Ricky taking a look over and
enjoying the moment, you know?
It's happening.
The Suzuki era for Ricky Carmichael has begun, boys and girls. One more time through those rockers. 2 more turns away. He hits the rhythm section 1 time. Step up. Seat bounces that. Makes the left-hand turn. What kind of trick do you have for us now?
That was Roger DeCoster coincidentally clapping there right before the finish line, it looked like it.
Ricky Carmichael takes his first win aboard the Suzuki at the Skydome in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Congratulations to RC. What a win.
Also, what a way to welcome in the people from Makita, the title sponsor there, and Ricky Carmichael doing it for everybody. Just as he said, he didn't claim it. He said, I'm here to have fun. I think that's the ultimate way to have a good time.
Mike LaRocco crosses the finish line in 2nd, unofficially. Timmy Ferry in 3rd aboard the Yamaha. Good job by Red Dog. All right, Cameron, you and I have called more freestyle events than anybody on the planet probably. Look at that. Does he have some skills or what?
He's got some good extension. A little nose high there, but you also got to remember how rutted that face was.
You're calling him out. Little nose high.
Hey, well, we're jumping into freestyle mode there for a second.
I'll give him a 93.7 on the move. No put in can, just a way to top it off. Thumbs up from the crowd. You can tell that Ricky Carmichael was their favorite rider. Ricky takes the win on the Suzuki, and we'll hear from him when we come back to the THQ World Supercross Grand Prix from Toronto. Toronto, Ontario, Canada, the first stop of the THQ World Supercross Grand Prix got underway in a big way as we take a look at the 250cc main event results brought to you by Honda. But it is the Suzuki now of Ricky Carmichael taking a win. Michael LaRocco, Tim Ferry round out the podium. Nick Way moved all the way into 4th spot. You notice Doug DeHaan, the top Canadian, in 10th. Now let's go down to Jamie Little with 3rd place.
Well, Robbie, thanks so much. It's good to see Tim Ferry back. He missed almost the whole Supercross season with a wrist injury. It's got to feel good to be not only back out here, but on the podium once again.
Yeah, for sure. That was my main goal, was to be on this podium, these first 2 races, and, try to race with Ricky. I did a little bit in the heat race. His pace is a little bit on me right now, but I got another month to work on that. And like I said, I haven't raced in I haven't fully raced as Tim Ferry in at least a year. So.
Well, we were watching you out there. You were charging, but those ruts. Tell me about the ruts on this track. It looked like it was getting the most of you guys.
Yeah, I kind of got not a great start. I liked to go to the outside, and I got a good start in the heat race, and I went back out there and didn't quite work out. And I worked my way up pretty good. I had a really good battle with Sebastien. He was riding great, and towards the end I got a little pumped up, just not racing, I think, and I'll be ready. It'll be a little better in Vancouver.
All right, Red Dog Tim Ferry is back, and we're happy to have him. Robbie?
Red Dog is definitely back. Thank you, Jamie. Very modest from Red Dog. He knows he's not quite there yet, but he's still developing that race speed. We know he has it. He's just got to find it again. He's been out for a while.
Definitely, and very solid performance from Red Dog coming in there. And it's just great to see how comfortable he looked on the motorcycle.
Now let's go back down to Jamie Little. The Rock got a start, but 2nd. Not too bad for the first race of the year.
Not too bad. Definitely another rider that's been out for quite some time now. Mike LaRocco, what's going through your mind? You just came up here. I said, how you feeling? It's been a while.
Yeah, well,
to put it to this way. I'm getting closer, but still not where I want to be. I mean, Ricky set a good pace, and you know, I'm glad. I wish I would have got out a little bit earlier with him. I was kind of stuck behind Kyle Lewis, and I would like to race him a little bit, but I just tried to keep it going, you know, and not let him get too far away. But I'm just not there yet. But I'm glad I'm here, and I'm learning that, and I still have some time to work on it.
All right, Mike LaRocco, some great battles tonight. Good to see him on the podium, and we still have one more international round to go.
Congratulations to LaRocco on his second place finish, but the road to Las Vegas, that's where the title will be determined. We will crown a champion. Will it be Heath Voss? He holds the #1 plate now, but Ricky Carmichael might have something to say about it. The road to Las Vegas, May 8th, Las Vegas, Nevada. As we take a look at the THQ World Supercross GP points, Carmichael is your leader. Just the way they finished tonight, that's the way you see them in the point standings. Now let's go down to Jamie Little in our winner.
Well, Robbie, RC is back, and yes, we've seen him at the U.S. Open on the Suzuki already, but out of 2 races now, it took only 2 tries, and he takes home his first win. How good are you feeling? Obviously good. You're doing a little freestyle in there at the end.
I wouldn't call that freestyle. You know, I was trying my little no-legged can-can and this and that, but you know what? I felt great. You know, I know there's a couple other guys that aren't out there, but I have my own little race with them inside my head, and I'll tell you, the track got technical. It's really ruddy, so it made it tough.
Now, going in, I know we have one more round up here in Canada. Going to Anaheim, do you feel like you're going to have a leg up on the competition that's not here?
I definitely think it helps me. You know, it can't hurt me. I need a little more time on the bike, and I feel like I've made leaps and bounds from October. And that's the main thing. And, you know, I'm having a blast. You know, I appreciate what I do. I love my new team, and, you know, just happy to be aboard, you know, the Makita Suzuki.
1 down, 16 more to go, and next week is Vancouver, British Columbia. 2 full hours of racing coverage. We're bringing you every minute and then some from Vancouver. Ricky Carmichael, your champion and points leader here in Toronto. For Cameron Steele and Jamie Little, I'm Robbie Floyd. Thanks for watching. The THQ World Supercross GP is being produced by Clear Channel Entertainment Motorsports in association with ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.